Hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
Terrence.
And here are the goods. So, CinemaCon.
Yeah.
Happening in Vegas right now.
Awesome.
And, you know, they got a lot of freaking great stuff going on over there. All right. Posters to new shows, to new movies,
right.
Trailers. All of the studios are putting out all their good stuff right now. And Paramount has actually released their slate for the upcoming year.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to run this by you, and you tell me which ones you're actually looking forward to. Okay.
Okay.
So they announced obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Ben-Hur.
They announced Ben-Hur. Like,
Yeah.
Hey guys, Ben-Hur's coming.
Ben-Hur. Ben-Him is next year. All right. Jack Reacher 2.
Yeah. So that's going to be at the bottom of my list.
Yeah. What you really think about? You know, we went from Ben-Him to Jack Reacher. All right, Rings.
We're way off the rails now.
Rings, which is actually the third in the Ring trilogy,
because they somehow figured that there's people still watching the original 2 Rings, and they're like, oh man, I can't wait to get around to that third Rings.
Yeah, and well, they actually had made Rings like it was kind of a short on the special features of Ring 2.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually supposed to be kind of like what happened before the Ring or something like that. So the titles, I mean, that's why I was kind of confused. I thought it was kind of like an expansion of that, but it's actually a whole new story.
So basically, in the original release on DVD, they were like, there ain't no way we're making a third one. Yeah. So they was like, we're going to give them something, and we're just going to end it right here.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, it was actually pretty good. So
so the one that they didn't make was the best one.
Like, you know, like the first one? That actually gave me...
First one was okay.
That actually gave me nightmares, to be honest with you.
Second one was, there was a cash grab on that second one.
Yes, it was. It was bad too. But anyway, all right. So Triple X3, another one. We talked about that briefly in the previous episode. That's another one. And Baywatch, we talked about that one too.
Oh, then that's number 1 right there, Baywatch.
Baywatch. I got The Rock there and Dario.
Oh my God, just get Kate Upton in it.
You gotta have Kate Upton in it.
Oh God.
And it's never too late for reshoots. It's never too late to. Well, actually, they're shooting it right now. So yeah, do that and get her in there.
Fan petition. Started now.
Right now, out of these for Paramount, Turtles is the obvious one for me. But I'm curious about that Rings. I'm curious because you know, the first one was really good, and they actually planned a remake, not a remake, but a versus movie. Get this, in Japan, because the Rings was actually part of Ringu, Japanese horror.
Ringu and Ju-on and
yes. Oh God, it's Then we're going off subject. I just want to say that real quick. But yeah, the Rings versus.
Making The Grudge. The
Grudge. Yeah, that's what's happening in Japan. So I'm curious about that one. But anyway, so yeah, that's the one I'm.
This is why they don't bring everything from Japan, because sometimes Japanese, the audience there they like some things that are just kind of off the wall. Yeah. I mean, have you seen their TV shows? Off subject.
Big American Party.
All right, exactly, and that's probably a number 1 show there.
So which one out of those do you?
Like I said, Baywatch is probably the number 1 that I have going right now, and obviously Turtles.
Yeah, Turtles is my biggest one, but that's
I just wish they'd stop showing trailers.
You don't want to see any more Turtles trailers? Pretty soon it's just gonna be the whole damn movie they show.
Yeah, basically, it's gonna be what they did with Avengers 2. So where they showed us everything in the freaking trailers, and like I posted the most recent trailer from the Turtles, and I'm like, if I loop all of these together, that's at least 40 minutes of the movie.
Well, that was actually Star Wars Force Awakens. After they showed some.
True, because I had to stop watching trailers on that too.
Yeah, they actually, it's pretty much the whole, there's a continuity there for all the trailers if you actually edit them right. So, anyway, so, yeah, looking forward to that, see what's up. I don't know. CinemaCon. I actually got the co-workers up there right now. All right, so.
Did they call in for work? Or?
No, never mind. All right, so BVS, big hit, right? Yeah, right. Well, it's actually a moderate success, but it's nothing that Warner Brothers is like really woo.
Yeah, big hit on its way to $1 billion.
Well, it's actually going to be. They're trying to milk this thing, so they're re-releasing the rated R cut that was supposed to be for Blu-ray.
They're gonna release that.
They're gonna release it in the movie theaters to have a little small theatrical run. It's not going to be out in theaters for long.
Really?
But they are going to have this out just for a little while, just to milk the cow, basically, get all that out of it.
They're going to screw themselves on the video sales when it finally comes out.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think you still got to own it. I mean, it's going to be part of your library regardless. So, and you know the viewers out there that are just attacking and dogging this movie are going to want to watch it.
So you think that it would change the public opinion if they see the rated R film out there, and you think the buzz from it will kind of boost it, so that way when they do get around to selling, actually that does kind of make sense. So you do it in a limited run, you get a good buzz if people like the rated R version with basically the 3-hour cut. If people like that one, then they'll talk about it like, oh man, that version was so much better than the PG-13 version, and they'll talk about it, build up the hype for it, so when it releases on video, then people will be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go grab that rated R version to see if it's better than the PG-13 version. So that actually does kind of make sense, almost kind of like how they did with Daredevil when they released the director's cut. Didn't quite save it, but at least it built up a buzz because people said, hey, the director's cut was way better, which I actually watched today.
And I saw it yesterday. We'll get into that later. The plot holes, I mean, if there's any plot holes in BVS, it'll probably be...
Please let it be fixed in the 3-hour cut.
Fixed in the 3-hour cut. Jenna Malone was taken out of it, so maybe
you think she'll be in there?
Maybe she'll be in there. I'm not sure. But either way, it's not going to be, for this year anyway, it's not going to be the last time that you see Batman. Going from the Suicide Squad trailers, which we'll talk about that right now in a little bit, there is a lot of Batman in it.
Yeah.
So you will see Ben Affleck again this year in August. Now, I'm not exactly sure how the timeline's going to work, but he is going to come out in, I'm talking about as far as the timeline between BVS and Suicide Squad.
As far as the Batman timeline.
Yeah, the Batman timeline, exactly. So I don't know exactly where that is, but he is going to be in there. First, it was going to be just a cameo, but from the way it looks of it, and I really think that DC is really getting this. Yeah, they're going to show him a little bit more on.
Well, the thought right now is that it's going to be a flashback to how the Joker got, sent to Arkham. So that's how he caught him. That's how he.
Jason Todd.
Did I say Joker? Yeah, it's a Joker.
Jason Todd, yeah. Not the actual
No! It's a Joker. Everybody on that train is a Joker. It's an absolute Joker. Then why would they do Harley? Why would they show the beginning of, why would they show Harleen Quinzel, then transition into Harley Quinn? There'd be no point to it if it was Jason Todd.
Okay, you're right.
There'd be no point. It's freaking Joker. Come on. Come on.
I mean, come on. All right, so Will Smith comes out in this, right? And, he's playing Deadshot. And he actually came out and said that he wants Deadshot to play Batman. To take over, there is a comic, I guess one of the comics where Batman does get hurt and Deadshot becomes, he becomes Batman.
Temporarily.
In the 1950s, issue 59, Deadshot actually does take the role. He kind of like impersonates Batman. So I don't know if that would be a possibility. I doubt it because Ben Affleck just got the role. Ben Affleck is getting praise for the role. So yeah, don't count on it, Will. Sorry.
No, and just the simple fact that even piggyback that, it was like they made there was in the rumors when they were doing the when they were casting for the Superman reboot before we got to Man of Steel, when they were doing the Superman Returns, his name was in the running for that, and they talked to him because obviously he didn't get to ask him, hey,
Will Smith?
Yes,
really?
His name had come up, and he
thought it was Hancock.
Well, see, this came after Hancock. That's why they asked him. It came after Hancock, and he was like, no, white people don't like when you replace their superheroes. So he turned it down. So the simple fact that he said in that moment there that he didn't want to be Superman when his name was he probably didn't screen test for it, but his name had come up and people had asked him about it. So why he would even be talking about Batman, only because it's a popular character right now after what's come up from BBS. But it would just, why would you do it? Because everybody's going to be like, okay, well, hurry up, get Ben Affleck back to come back here and be Batman.
But if he can play Batman in that scenario, and not
like
saying
him impersonating, like, I mean, if he do it,
what about that? Do you see that happening?
I mean, but it would just be, it would be a small gimmick that they would have to the film, and it'd be like, somebody ran around as Batman, and then you find out it was Deadshot, and then it would have been better if he just been Deadshot the whole movie.
Well, Billy D was too.
By the way,
Billy D was Harvey Dent. So.
Let me know when we get to Suicide Squad, because I got some things about Suicide Squad.
Well, let's get into Suicide Squad. The freaking new trailer is out. Ballroom Blitz this time instead of Bohemian Rhapsody, but it was freaking awesome. It was a really good trailer.
Yeah.
A little bit more detail, and I'm with you on stop watching trailers actually, because that one also is starting to throw a little bit more. And the more and more I see it, the more I really believe that Margot Robbie is the freaking show. I think.
Like she's gonna steal all the scenes.
She's gonna steal the show. She is so awesome. We had talked about it previously in a different episode. And you were talking about your concern for her dialect.
It started when they showed more of her talking. It came out now.
It came out slowly but surely. I don't know if it's gonna be entirely Mr. J. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be that bad, but I just want to have that New York accent.
Yeah. She does have her iconic hammer.
Yeah,
in the video, so
that's cool.
Yeah, and supposedly in part 2 she'll have her jester outfit. maybe. Who knows? They
asked her about it, and she said they tried it and it didn't work. So from what they were doing is like they literally tried to do it and it just did not work. So that's the reason how they settled on this particular outfit. But what I wanted to say about it. With the way they're doing these trailers in the film, and I understand what Suicide Squad is in the comic book realm and even in the animated film, it was a way to kind of do something with these characters and kind of branch them out a little bit. But since they're just now introducing this universe, and these are a bulk of big villains, well, some of them smaller, but I mean, but you got Deadshot, you got Harley Quinn, you got Joker in here. I mean, some of them are some B and C list villains, but they are really taken away from their pool of villains because by the end of this movie, we're gonna end up liking these villains. And then how are you gonna go and put them in a situation where now they're the legit bad guy, and then you have to root for the hero, and then you still have a kind of a like and a love for what these the characters that are playing these particular villains. Marvel does it with Loki, but even to a point right now where you don't really hate Loki. Loki's been helping Thor. He helped Thor in the Dark World,
and he'll be in Ragnarok. And his last outing is Loki.
Yeah, but when we're in there, we're still gonna be kind of cheering for Loki at the same time. And it's like, so you have all these villains that you're taking away from your villain pool, and now when you do want to throw them, if you keep them as Suicide Squad members and you just leave it there and you just pick new villains, now you're really down a C and D list on your villains if you don't go and pick stuff that's already been done. Or you put them into the film, and then we kind of like these guys. I don't really want to see them fight Batman or fight, the Flash or fight. But the
good thing about it too is exactly that, is that they are the B and C, so you don't necessarily have to utilize them in Batman's world completely, because you have the Penguin, you have the Riddler, you have
then we'll end up redoing ones that we already seen.
Right.
Or if we go into when we get to the Flash and not for Aquaman, but when we get to Flash and we get to Cyborg and stuff like that. When they come across these villains are going to outshine the actual superheroes because we're going to know more about them than we're going to know about the actual superheroes. But I guess in a way you can start to think of it, then we don't have to give them that much screen time, because that's the thing with Marvel, where the villains aren't getting that much screen time and it's all about the heroes, so you don't know much about it. I guess it's a way to kind of give them their own light, and then when you throw them in, so I can see both sides, but I'm still a little bit worried about them being put in such a friendly atmosphere to where we're not gonna think of them as villains anymore.
But at the same time, it's not too often that you get us, because a sequel has already been announced. So it's not too often that you actually get villains to be in sequels like that, like where they're running the show. So it's gonna have to really they're gonna have to really be careful on how they use these guys. But if they're gonna be in a part 2, you're right. They're gonna end up liking them, and so it's kind of like Suicide Squad is Villains Avengers. In a way, I don't know.
Villains Avengers.
So last time, a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about Indiana Jones 5.
God, why were we talking about that film?
I don't know. Oh yeah, because they made Indiana Jones 5. They're gonna make it, right? Well, it was really, people were kind of like, why are you doing this? Exactly your reaction. And David Koepp, who wrote Crystal Skull, which is pretty much now the worst sequel in the whole franchise, they brought him back to do the screenwriting. Okay, fine, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because Lucas threw his bone, in there.
Yeah, we'll throw it on George.
We'll throw it on George a little bit. He brought up the alien stuff and all that, so David Koepp kind of gets a little free pass. Well, I'm going to take the free pass back because according to what I read, this article I read, David Koepp is going to continue on from where Crystal Skull left off for Indiana Jones 5.
We're not gonna do like old Indy reading the book and talking about young Indy and when I was young.
I don't know exactly.
When I was young and then my bullwhip was good and my hat wasn't dusty, I would get out there, and then they go and they show
No,
Chris Pratt?
No. The way it looks right now, they don't even know they're going to have him replaced.
No Bradley?
From what?
What are we doing, man?
From what producer Frank Marshall says is that particular role is too iconic. It's not like James Bond, which is kind of weird because James Bond is a really iconic role.
Or Han Solo, which we're casting.
So they're going to have Harrison Ford come back. But the thing that bothers me about it is that, and even though we did You Don't Hate This movie on Crystal Skull, you know, the overall reaction to it was that it wasn't very good.
Right.
So now you're gonna bring this guy back, and then you're gonna start off where the last one left off.
Yeah, we get Shia back.
Yeah.
We get Shia back.
We don't know if we're gonna get Shia back. We don't even know if we're gonna get.
If you're gonna do that, I want Shia now. Give me Shia.
So when he's in his theater watching this movie, he'll be all.
I will. But you know what? If you're gonna do it, you're gonna go all the way in. Because what are you gonna make? Deadbeat Indy? Was it like he just met his son? It was like.
So if since David Koepp is coming back and they're doing this movie, does George Lucas come back?
No. Disney owns this already. They already told him no for Star Wars. They're not bringing him back for this.
I hope not. Just enjoy your retirement, George.
Yeah,
don't even bother with this. Let Steven Spielberg get hammered for this one.
Hey, he did an interview where he was talking about making original movies. Make some original movies. Let's be happy, man. You got $4 billion. Go make something you want to make.
Or you can hook us up. And, we also spoke about Wolverine 3.
Okay.
Now, Wolverine 3 is actually going to be rated R, thanks to Deadpool. And it is going to be filming, I think it's filming this year, and it'll be released next year, but it actually takes place in the future. Okay. So it is going to be, from the looks of it, it is going to be the Old Man Logan storyline.
Right, which they're going to have to make major changes to.
And
there's no Hawkeye, no Hulk.
Well, Hawkeye is going to be taken, in place of Hawkeye, you're going to have Patrick Stewart as Xavier. He's going to actually take over. No! He's going to take over the role that role that.
Don't we have another arrow shooting person that fights a mutant that shoots arrows? Give me Angel. Give me Archangel.
Well, he's a Fox property. I mean, not Fox property. Not Fox property. No, he is a Fox property. Yeah, he was on. That's right, because he's on Apocalypse. So, since it takes place in the future, it's really hard to say on how the timelines are going to be because everything changed with Days of Future Past and Deadpool and all this other stuff. So, we don't know exactly how it's going to work in the timeline. As far as I know right now, Apocalypse is actually taking place in the 80s, where Days of Future Past took place in the 70s and First Class took place in the 60s. So this universe is going to be probably in the not so distant future, or maybe further
probably
down.
That would actually but it has to be further down because then you have to worry about the way Wolverine ages. So you can't say, it's 10 years later after Days of Future Past. You have to say it's 20 to 30 because Logan would still look the same age that he would have looked in the previous.
But then how would that go with Patrick Stewart then? Because
body transfer like he did before? I don't know. They reset the timeline, so he didn't actually do the body transfer that he had done previously in X3. So
I don't know. That's going to be interesting. With all of this stuff with Marvel and all that's going on,
don't do Patrick Stewart.
They're going to do Patrick Stewart. He's already on board. Sorry, I don't know how they're going to do it. He can't walk. We won't shoot an arrow. So I have no idea how this. I
don't want to see him hanging with Logan. That's not the person you want to see hanging with Logan. I want to see. Yeah, I'm dropping it. Well, don't do this.
Hopefully, Lee Schreiber, because they've already contacted Lee Schreiber.
That's the one I want. I would rather see Sabretooth.
I would love to see him in full Sabretooth gear.
I would rather see Sabretooth.
That would be awesome.
That would be so good.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because of all this stuff going on, they got like so much. Not necessarily Fox, but Marvel in general has so much stuff going on that they have to shift their stuff around. So Inhumans is going to be delayed.
Yeah, I just heard about that. Yeah. So, which isn't a big thing because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they're covering it right now. Right. So it still gets the public, because not a lot of people watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So they still have time to keep building that up before they get to it and throw a movie out there that not a lot of people know about. So it gives the show a little bit more time to work on that, and then they can work on these other properties because they got sequels. They still have to fit in all through these phases. So you can work on that and get to Inhumans whenever they get to it.
I think they're going to put it in. I think they're going to make it part of Phase 4. or maybe late phase 3.
Either that, or just mixing it. Did the Inhumans really need their own movie? Just mix them in.
I was going to ask you, well, I don't know. I mean, with the success of Guardians of the Galaxy that a lot of people didn't see coming, yeah, why not? I mean, nobody saw Guardians of the Galaxy do what it was doing, especially in August when people were going back to school and stuff. So, yeah, you know what? I mean, that's actually pretty interesting. So we'll see how all of that works. Another comic property that's coming out is the Spider-Man, right? So it's recently announced that the Vulture will be the villain.
Oh God!
There's this cool picture though of John Malkovich as the Vulture.
Oh God!
That would be cool.
The Vulture is like some cranky old man that lived on your block, dude. Like you're making too much noise, and he's just like, I'm gonna show them Spider-Man over there. I'm gonna get some wings, and I'm gonna go over there. And I'm gonna go, because all the Vulture does is fly. And forgive me, because I'm not a big.
But he's part of the Sinister Six too, so it might set up something. You never know.
Old bald man who flies. Scary. Scary. It's not what I want to see. Give me Mysterio before you give me Vulture. At least Mysterio could be kind of like Scarecrow because he puts out his gas and gives you hallucinations.
That's right.
So, I mean, I would rather see that than I would want to see Vulture. That's ridiculous. Who is running stuff there? Marvel, I thought y'all supposed to be, coming in and helping them get good ideas and direction and stuff like this.
And how about some good titles?
The Vulture is basically, he might as well be fighting his high school teacher or something like that, because that's what that is.
The poll, I put a poll out for the voting poll. Yay! No,
did you vote for the Vulture?
No, but I'm going to put that poll out too. But I put a poll out for voting for you guys, and to go on topic on both, to go both on Suicide Squad and on Spider-Man. And on the Spider-Man poll, I put those titles out that we talked about last time, and I don't think, if I remember right, Homecoming didn't get one vote
because it's stupid.
It was Coming of Age that actually got a lot of votes for that. So
that sounds like a teen movie.
Yeah, but it's Spider-Man Coming of Age. That's what I really like. The Greatness Awaits. That was
who did the Pretty in Pink and the
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Spider-Man Coming of Age by John Hughes.
Special guest star Anthony Michael Holmes.
There you go. I would go see that movie. You do that one, John Hughes.
Aunt May, played by Molly Ringwald. So, genius! Put us in Hollywood.
Oh my God.
And another one that I put out was actually who's gonna leave the best mark of playing the Joker. So the nominees were Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, and Mark Hamill voice.
Okay, Mark Hamill's very close on that.
I love him. That's exactly right. But unanimous 71% Heath Ledger.
Of course.
Heath Ledger.
Of course.
Now, shout out to Frankie because they were giving me feedback on it. But yeah, so it was. I really thought that Jared Leto would get something because it's a little. It's not as It's not modernized.
We haven't seen it. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the Depeche Mode version of the Cure version of the Joker.
Well, think about it this way. It was like if you'd asked people to rank Batman before BVS came out, where do you think Ben Affleck would have been?
Oh,
exactly. So now that we've seen him, then he's up there now. But the same thing is with Leto, and it's like we haven't seen it yet.
Would you put Affleck before Bale?
No.
I'm gonna put that vote out. You know what?
No.
That's gonna be
it's Twitter. It's Bale, Keaton.
No, it's Keaton, Bale, Affleck, Kilmer, Clooney. No, you know what? Adam West, Clooney.
Yeah, Bale, Keaton, Affleck. There you go.
No. All right, forget it. All right. So Spider-Man's reboot coming up. Third time's the freaking charm, I hope.
Right.
Because, the album were like, geez, I can't believe they did it the first time with Garfield. But anyway.
You want to count them old school ones? You want to count Electric Company? You want to count...
it was. I put the vote out there on the top 5, and hey, guess what? It's time for our top 5. So today's top 5, voted by you guys, is the top 5 best remakes. Now this was going back and forth because it was at first,
which this is an oxymoron, by the way.
I know, really, but it was going back and forth with best, worst, and I think Car Chase. I can't remember which one it was, and it was tied for a long time. So I had to re-release the poll between those two top vote getters, and remakes won.
Because
best remakes won.
If it was going to be Car Chases, it would be the best Fast and Furious movie.
Bullet, man. Steve
McQueen.
Cannonball Run.
No.
Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2.
The freeway scene.
Okay, so
why are we doing Car Chases?
I don't know, but Terrence, go for it.
All right. Okay, so best remakes, and
that was tough, actually.
It was really tough. I mean, because one, there's not a lot of good remakes out there, and the ones that are really, really good, you don't realize that they are remakes. So
that's true.
I'm gonna go through my top 5, and
more likely we have the same, but sorry.
More than likely, and y'all can complain if our lists are the same, because I normally try to be outside of the box, but no, I give you.
Hey, y'all beat them up pretty hard too.
It's all right, but you know,
freaking hilarious.
But you know what? Put your comments on there. I'm gonna put them in a video. You guys, I will acknowledge if you didn't like it. So, with that being said, my top 5. Number 5, The Evil Dead. I love that remake.
Great.
That was a great remake. I mean, it was scary. It was gory. It was for a moment when I had to sit and think about it. I think I like it better than the original. That's how good that remake was. And it wasn't, to be honest, I think you guys like it better than the original, because nobody really started getting into the Evil Dead until we really started going on the whole Ash heavy thing. And that's when when Evil Dead 2, which was basically another dang on remake of 1, that's when people really started liking the Evil Dead movie. So that, I consider, that is a great top 5 remake.
Okay.
All right. Number 4, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Wow, I was that close. I was that close. And if you haven't seen the prequel with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, that was freaking awesome too.
I think that from the original to John Carpenter's Thing is what why they even did they did a prequel with it. It has still not been redone. I mean, nobody's done anything like it. Nobody's tried to redo it since then. It's kind of one of those films. It's the Back to the Future. Like I said, when they try to do a remake, they say, "Oh, we're just gonna make it a prequel." It is the Back to the Future of movies. That was like, we're just not gonna touch this film.
What about Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Do you think that maybe a little bit of that? I mean, that's kind of.
The vibe.
That's kind of like Pod People,
but like in the Arctic, you know, with this unknown alien, and you know,
it was amazing.
I mean, it definitely is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. When you sit and really think about it, it definitely is
mixed with Alien.
But it was more of like, it wasn't like we're trying to blend in. It's just like, we're just trying to confuse you for a second, so then we can get you. The movie's awesome. Everybody's seen The Thing, but it is definitely
the music is freaking awesome too.
Awesome.
Kurt Russell, the man on it.
Kurt Russell. All right, so number 3, Batman Begins. What is wrong with you? It's a remake, people.
How is it a remake?
It's a remake of Michael Keaton's Batman.
No, it's not. The Dark Knight would probably be closer to a remake.
Okay,
go ahead. Stay your feet. I'm shutting up.
It's a remake of Batman the movie.
No, it's State your case, sir.
It's a remake of Adam West's Batman.
Oh, Adam West. Oh, okay. And they had the fake shark on his leg and everything.
Oh, because you said Batman. When I said Batman the movie, I meant like Batman the 1970s movie. That's what I meant with Adam West. Yeah, so, but either way, it's another Batman movie, and I consider it a remake. It ain't a continuation.
But don't you think
they started over. That is
too damn long to be Batman.
We can't get a little Bruce Wayne. We can't get a little bit of League of the Shadows.
Bruce Wayne Begins.
No. What? Oh, look, it was a good movie. All right, it got you back into Batman. It didn't continue from any other, so it didn't continue from Michael Keaton's Batman, which makes it a remake.
Okay.
All right. Number 2, The Departed.
The Departed. And you know what? I was gonna do that too. But we did it already on the Leo top 5.
And that's why it's on this top 5. It's a top 5 movie.
But we also put it on the Oscars one too.
It's a top 5 movie. They don't say, oh, you know, Oscar winners, but you're not a top remake. No, it's a top remake.
I wanted to do something. Okay, go.
Oh, now you want to be the different one.
I'm gonna be the different one. But it doesn't matter. We got to forget it. Go.
Anyway, Leo's in it. Does a great job. Makes you watch. Jack's in it. Marky Wahlberg. I was gonna say Marky Mark. It's in it.
Still the best line in the whole movie. I say it once, I say it again. It's best. He's got the best line.
It's a great line. It was like, we're not even gonna go into it.
Yeah, we already did it. Yeah, look at the previous episodes.
All right, so then that brings us to number 1. All right.
Number one,
Scarface.
Oh, that's pretty, man.
Pacino at his, not Pacino at his beginning, but one of the Pacino at his best following Godfather. So it was, I mean, it's a great movie. Not even people really even realize that it was a remake of the original movie from
1933. Paul Muni. Not Paul Mooney. Paul Muni. 1933.
That would have been an awesome Scarface with Paul Mooney.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
All right, so that's my top 5. You guys can send me your hate comments all you want to for what I didn't include. Because I noticed some I didn't include, and yes, I left them off. And for the people who said I put Batman at number 5, guess what? It's at number 3 this time. If you're happy, he's at number 3.
Yeah. But that was awful. Batman at 5. That's the best movie. Forget it. All right, so my number 5 is actually, I watched this movie all the freaking time. Every time it came on, I watched it. It's kind of like Godzilla, like Jaws. The Fly. 1986, Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis.
Over the original one, yes, that was.
It's awesome. The effects were great. The makeup, the animatronics. Cronenberg at his best. A lot of people like
scary movie. God, it was so
a lot of people like Dead Ringers for Cronenberg, but it was The Fly for me that was just amazing.
So much body horror in it.
Yes, but when he opens the medicine cabinet and his thing is there, that's hilarious to me. But but when you go through the transformation, when he's going through the transformation and all of that, and first of all, you actually appreciate the actual fly. You actually appreciate that actual. Yeah, I don't want to kill flies no more. But
do you remember? Did you actually see the original one? Help me! Help me!
Yeah. And I mean, for its day, 1950s, Vincent Price, it was all right, but that was an awesome remake. And like I said, Goldblum, that's probably like my favorite Jeff Goldblum movie.
Yeah, that's up
like of all time. So number 5.
That was number 5.
Number 4 is The Evil Dead. Also, the makeup was great. The tongue slicing on the freaking blade was just brutal. It really took you to Raimi's world. It really took you to Sam Raimi back in the day. They modernized it. They did a little bit more of enhanced effects because and they kept it practical. That's what I loved about it, was they kept the makeup. I mean, it made Tom Savini proud. I can probably say that because the effects were still practical. The makeup was great. Barely any CGI or anything on it. It was a great reboot, kind of like a parallel universe between the Bruce Campbell ones, because he does come out at the very end to say groovy. But so we'll see if actually they ever do cross paths, him and Mia. But it was still
I don't
great.
Know if they'll even do it. I don't think they'll do anything else in this particular series. But
hey, so I gave him noise right now about The Departed because it was on like his 2 previous top 5s for both of us, actually, so that's okay.
Number 2?
I'm gonna bring up Star Trek. That was one of my top 5s for
the Chris Evans one. I mean, Chris Pine. Sorry, the Chris Pine one.
Yeah, because it was on my TV.
Honestly, it was a great
TV adaptation. It was number 1.
Yeah,
so this movie was sweet.
It was good.
It was really smart to use time travel aspect of it to reboot it. It was really smart to do that because it still kept it in the same universe. Everything was still identical as far as the.
So they Days of Future Past it.
Days of Future Past, but they did it first. So actually, Days of Future Past, they Star Trek it. Exactly. So yeah, it was great. Chris Pine was perfect as Kirk. I'm really excited to see Beyond, Star Trek Beyond that comes out this summer. So I can only imagine the chemistry that they're all going to have because they've been together for so long. So hopefully. Number 2, Scarface, man. All the time, man. You kidding me? Pacino, like T said, at his best. He was, and you know what's funny is that this movie was, like punished bad with critical reviews and all this sort of stuff. I mean, he just tore into the critics did, and no Oscar nominations for nobody. But it was Michelle Pfeiffer's second movie after Grease 2, if I remember right. Man. And she was phenomenal in it, just as much as Al Pacino was. But big ups to Stephen Bauer, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, Robert Loggia, great cast. F. Murray Abraham, Oscar winner there for Amadeus. He was. They were all a great cast. And back in '83, I mean, geez, you didn't really have that kind of thing, but it was just awesome. It found life in home video, obviously, and I think that's where the cult classic thing came in when they got.
It found life with rappers across the world.
Yeah.
I think they kept this movie afloat for a while. You know, they kept it as a cult. What?
Latinos have, what was it? The Latinos have Scarface as our Malcolm X.
Aww.
Tony Montana. Anyway, Scarface. I love Scarface. That was one of my favorites. Number 1. Now this was really hard because normally it would have actually been Scarface, but this movie was so good, and it just really took me back to the 80s, and that was Dredd.
Why is that not on my list?
Dredd, starring Carl Urban, was phenomenal, and if you remember those 80s movies from Paul Verhoeven, Total Recall, RoboCop, Dredd gave you that, and that was already in the 2000s, 2011 to 2010, something like that, I can't remember. I'll red ink that. But anyway, but to have that essence of the 80s, the real hard-hitting action, in-your-face gore, all that good stuff, that was, Dredd. I mean, it gave you pretty much RoboCop. It was awesome, and made up for the Judge Dredd in the 90s.
Which I still like that movie. And that movie, I believe, outside of that one scene on the little motorcycle when they're flying, when they're going down the building, and that was the only part I think that doesn't hold up in that film because the CGI is really dated in there. But anyway, as you were saying, Dredd is great. It gave us the comic book version of Dredd. It doesn't take the helmet off. Ever takes the helmet off, and he doesn't smile. And that was the one thing that I loved about it, because in the comic book, he never smiles. He's always got a frown on his face, and he did it the entire film. He did that whole little thing, the whole film, and I was like, he's gonna smile once. He's gonna start. He did the whole frown, the whole film. That movie was great. And I'm really, really sad it will never get a sequel. It will get a sequel, and when it does, I don't think they'll release it theatrically. That's the one thing that. Then they're not gonna have a budget, and it's gonna be. It was already on a small budget to begin with. If they go cheaper than what they did, that's why they only could do the one little block, because they had such a tiny budget. Because he had to agree to such a small budget just to get it done. I don't know. And it still didn't make money. That's how sad it is. Well, I think it made its money in home media. When it released on video, it made its money back. But theatrically, it bombed. If the return on investment, if they tie that into home media dollars, then maybe they will. Who knows? It was freaking awesome. It'll get a short made or something like that, but it will never say. It'll get rebooted before we ever see a sequel. Hell no. Carl Urban is Judge Dredd. We'll get a different director, and they're gonna totally screw it up. So give us your top 5. Let us know what your top 5 best remakes are. Send him all your Batman hate, because Batman was on my list, was not on his. You know what? I actually had The Dark Knight as a remake to Batman. I had that. But that was a sequel. You can't call it a remake. I don't care. It's a sequel. You can't call it a remake. I don't care. It was a sequel. Can't call it a remake. We forgot things technically like Godzilla and stuff like that. I mean, they rebooted those. What, Muto? In 2014, Muto? Oh, that one. But even in the whole Toho company. How about this? How about The Force Awakens? It's a sequel. It's a remake of New Hope. You got a point. It actually is a remake of New Hope, but it is technically a sequel, so it does not count. Whatever. Take us home. All right, guys. So, like I was saying, send all your Batman hate to Manny. Attention to the Goods on YouTube/the You Goods channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, definitely comment. I love putting up you guys' comments. I love responding back to you guys' comments. Whatever it is, I'll respond back to it, because I want to let you guys know that when you do post something, we do see it. Also, make sure you subscribe. This is the first time you're watching this video. Make sure you click the subscribe button, so that way you can see more content that we actually put up here besides this show, because we do other shows like Rule of Two, like You Don't Hate, and our new one, wrestling show, is Dropkick and Beauty. So make sure you keep an eye out for those. And if you already a subscriber, tell some friends that you may know that might like this content. So other than that, that's all we got for this particular week. And I'm Manny. I'm Terrence. And that's Aspen in the back. And that was the Goods. It's just gonna be narration. Shit, I forgot what number 2 was. What the hell was number 2? What just opened? With what? Hi guys, welcome to the show. What just opened? I'm Terrence. And that's Aspen behind the camera. And here are the Goods. You've been away a little bit, huh? Yeah. So I gotta let you know about different things that happened. Was screw it. Let's just go. Becoming an adult. I'm going through puberty again.